A doctor was working at a hospital where the patients were tagged with color band. Green means alive, red means died. One night, the doctor was instructed to get a few supplies from the basement of the hospital, and so he headed to the lift. The lift door opened, and there was a patient inside, minding her own business. Patients were allowed to roam around the hospital to start, especially those who have stayed long. The rule was to be back in their room before 10. The doctor smiled at the patient before pressing the number for the basement. He found it unusual that the woman did not have a button already pressed. He wondered if she was heading to the basement too. The lift finally reached that floor, where the doors opened. In the distance, a man was limping towards the elevator, and in a panic, the doctor slammed the elevator button to close. It finally did, and the lift began to ascend back up. The doctor's heart pounding. Why did you do that? He was trying to use the lift. The woman started annoyed. Did you see his wrist? The doctor asked. It was red. He died last night. I would know because I did this surgery. The woman lifted her wrist. He saw red. She smiled. Like this one. A father went to say good night to his 7 years old son, very well knowing that if he did not, his son would have trouble sleeping. It was a nightly routine between them. He entered the dimly lit room, where his son waited under his blanket. With the first glance, the father could tell there was something unusual about his son tonight, but could not put his finger on it. He looked the same, but had a grin that drew from ear to ear. You okay, buddy? The father asked. His son nodded, still with the grin, before saying, Daddy, check for monster under my bed. The father chuckled a bit before getting on his knees to shake only to satisfy his son. There, under the bed, pale and afraid, was his son, his real son. He whispered, Daddy, there's someone on my bed. A man just moved into an apartment and heads to the receptionist to get his keys. The receptionist gave him the key with a smile, but warned him not to disturb the door with no number on his floor. He wondered why, but did not bother to ask. He was too busy with his new apartment to care. After he finished unpacking, he began to get curious. He questioned why the receptionist would warn him of such thing, and so he stepped out of his apartment to check the door with no number. He tried the door knob first, but it was locked, so instead he got onto his knees and peeked through the keyhole. The apartment he was looking into was empty. His eyes scanned the whole place before stopping at a woman standing face against a wall in a corner. He noticed her pale skin and long black hair before stepping back, suddenly feeling prevented in a way for invading someone else's privacy. He brushed it off, assuming she was someone that did not want to be disturbed. The next day, he got more curious about the woman and eventually went back, straightway getting onto his knees. He peeked through the keyhole and saw all red. Red? He assumed that the pale woman must have caught him picking the last time and covered the whole white something red. He left the road alone and instead went down to the receptionist to ask her question. The receptionist signed and asked, "You looked through the keyhole, didn't you?" He admitted to it, and so she felt obligated to tell him the story. She told him that a couple used to live in that apartment a long time ago, but that husband went crazy and killed his wife. However, this couple was not normal. They had pale skin, black hair, and red eyes.